Depraved principal exposed for what he secretly did to conservative kids. Why is he still there? The National School Walkout had students across America walking out of class Wednesday, demanding an end to gun violence in schools. It was a day with a 1984 sort of vibe, spawned some very different responses than what one might expect. In some schools looking to clearly push an agenda, the walkout was mandatory and many schools sanctioned the so-called walkout, making it not much of an actual walkout. This so-called walkout was actually students being forced to conform to government authority by speaking government-approved opinions in a government-approved venue. The government-approved opinion being these students should allow their own rights to be stripped from them by the very government whose opinion they were publicly expressing. Students marched out of schools with the sanction of the state to demand less freedom from the state, and that act was somehow touted as rebellious and brave. Except not all students were willing to spout the government-approved and government-sanctioned party line. For one student at New Prague High School in New Prague, Minnesota, it was not a message he willing to recite or repeat. Fellow student Kenny McDonald took a video of the entire exchanging, which had more than 2.75 million views by the next day, with a message stating "Kids at our school today walked out, in honor of the 17 students killed in Florida." Students held signs that said, "Arm our teachers." They had two signs. A student walked out without saying a word, peacefully put up his sign which said, "Guns don't kill people, people kill people." He was escorted off the property by our principal and threatened to be put into a police car. This violates the First Amendment and makes me sick that they can do whatever they want. Please make this go viral. Location: New Prague High School, Minnesota. In the video, McDonald shows a student holding a sign that states, "Guns don't kill people, people kill people," as well as other students holding signs that state, "Arm our teachers." According to McDonald, the unnamed New Prague High School student walked out without saying a word, peacefully put up his sign, after which school principal Lonnie Seifert confronted him and allegedly threatened to have him put into a police car. Shortly after the video begins, you can see Seifert escorting the student holding the sign reading, "Guns don't kill people, people kill people," off of the school property. In the video, Seifert is seen approaching the student and leading him away from the protest. Seifert then threatened to put the student in a police car, according to McDonald's accounts of the events. New Prague High School issued a statement on response to the incident, citing what they claimed was the district policy where such items must be reviewed by school administrators at least 24 hours in advance and to protect the exercise of students' and employees' free speech rights, while taking into consideration the educational objectives and responsibilities of the school district. The sign was moved to off grounds. The district has an obligation to enforce this policy without regard to political viewpoint. Except they sanctioned the National Walkout Day, a day where students were obliged to participate in their very policies to demand the government-approved opinion of gun control. Were those students escorted off the property or silenced in any way? It does not appear so. The statement went on to state that students were not disciplined and law enforcement was not involved, despite threats clearly made on video to the contrary. The school's statement also stated the administration has an obligation to enforce a time, place, and manner restriction policy, it said. The district said though it respects and recognizes free speech rights, they are to be balanced against the district's responsibility to maintain a school environment focused on education. According to the Jordan Independent, Superintendent Tim Dickburner said an investigation has been launched into the incident and a related statement will be released. What is also interesting is in response to the most recent school shooting at Marguerite Stoneman High School in Parkland, Florida, Northeastern University released a preview of new research by James Allen Fox that is slated for publication this fall. The study shows there are no growing trends in school shootings despite what the government-approved opinion is and what the mainstream media would have you believe. The university study notes mass school shootings are incredibly rare events. In research publishing later this year, Fox and doctoral student Emma Friedel found that on average, mass murders occur between 20 and 30 times per year, and about one of those incidents on average takes place at a school. Friedel and Fox used data collected by USA Today, the FBI's supplementary homicide report, Congressional Research Service, Gun Violence Archive, Stanford Geospatial Center, and Stanford Libraries, Mother Jones, Every Town for Gun Safety, and a NIPT report on active shooters. Their research also finds that shooting incidents involving students have been declining since the 1990s. 4 times the number of children were killed in schools in the early 1990s than today, Fox said. There is not an epidemic of school shootings, he said, adding that more kids are killed each year from pool drownings or bicycle accidents. There are around 55 million school children in the United States, and on average over the past 25 years, about 10 students per year were killed by gunfire at school, according to Fox and Friedel's research.